This is 5 Minutes to Change Your Life. My name is Joanne Mallon. I'm an author and coach. I love helping people make wee changes that make a massive difference in their lives. Give me 5 minutes of your time today. Just might change your life. Hey, hello, what about you? How you doing? Wanted to talk a wee bit today about how to deal with a change in your life that you didn't choose. You didn't want to have it happen, but it's happening anyway, so you've got to get on with it. I mean, there's an awful lot of things in life like that, isn't there? So we've just got to be across this. I'm finding this is something that's coming up an awful lot in coaching sessions at the moment. In my coaching, so I do career coaching. Most of the time, actually, people come for career coaching because they actively want to make a change. They want to change their jobs, or they want to change how they behave at work, or something like that. But the point is, it's an active change. They've decided they want to make it. They are in the driving seat. But what's different now is, and I think this is because I coach a lot of people who work in the media and the creative world. You know, I've always coached a lot of TV producers, directors, writers, people like that. That area of the media world, it's in a terrible state at the moment. You might think from the outside, because there's loads of TV channels and there's more programs on than you could possibly watch, surely that must mean that this industry is in a healthy state. Actually, it's quite the opposite. You know, there's a lot less programming being made in the UK. And what that happens on the level of people's jobs is you get experienced, really successful TV professionals. There just isn't the work for them. So they're then having to think about new ways to make a living. But it's not what they choose. They'd rather be making TV shows. And because they wouldn't choose it, it makes it much more difficult for them to manage. And this is what I've been helping with people with. Dealing with a change that you didn't choose, it's actually one of the biggest challenges that we face as human beings, because at a really core fundamental level, we're all of us wired for stability. That is what makes us feel safe. Our brains want to keep us safe. That's what your brain is trying to do all the time. Keep you safe from danger, safe from predators, all that stuff. So when something unexpected happens, something you didn't choose, it can really, really shake you to your core. But uncertainty is everywhere. It's harder for our brains to deal with, but we still have to do it. The trouble is that life is unexpected. Plot twists, curveballs, they happen every day. But it's this loss of control that can leave us feeling helpless. When you're on a path you didn't choose, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And often with these kind of changes, there's some kind of loss involved. Loss of relationships, jobs, lifestyle, loss of an identity that you had, or a routine that you lived by. It's a lot to deal with, especially when you didn't want to deal with it in the first place. So, given that everybody's life contains changes that we did not choose, how do we deal with that? Now, in the well-being world, I'm sure you've noticed there's a standard line, which is to see these changes as an opportunity. So it's not so much a loss as an opening to something new, and to look at it and to see that being on a new and unexpected path is exciting. It's an adventure. I think it can be, it can be if you look at it like that. But we do also have to process and acknowledge our feelings around the loss and the fact that the world we knew has been rocked. What can really help at this point is to maybe think about the times previously that you've dealt with life changes and handled them really, really well. Think about whatever you consider to be the worst, the hardest time in your life, and how you handled that, and how much more resilient you are now because of that. How your history the path you've walked so far means that you absolutely can walk the path you're on today, even if you don't know where it's going and it's a pretty rocky path that you wouldn't necessarily choose. A lot of the time, the path you didn't choose turns out to have way more juicy berries on it than you might have expected. And if you're finding that this time of unasked for change is stressful, look for ways to reassure your brain that you're still safe. I mean, you can just say to yourself, I am safe. And that's it's powerful, makes a difference. It's also important, I think, to just talk to other people about what's going on with you, particularly if you're finding it stressful. You can talk to a coach, talk to friends, family, but just keep talking. Also, focus on the basics of self care: sleep, rest, move, all that stuff. And as you do that, as you build your strength and resilience, you can start making plans. You might not have chosen where you are, but you can choose where you go next. At the end of coaching sessions, after we've talked about lots of different things that the client could do, I'll say to them, okay, these are things you could do. What can you now see that you're going to do? What can you see that your next step needs to be? And there's always something. Always. We always have options. You do not need to know the full road. You just need to identify the next step. And remember that wherever you go, you'll be safe. I'll talk to you soon.